for each other, for showing up bravely, and in communities like this in response to these horrific acts of violence, unafraid to name the truth of what it is. This is an ongoing struggle against white supremacy and white nationalism, and we cannot get tired, and we cannot give up hope. And there is not a single one of us as faith leaders here who have not had to think through what we would do if someone with violent intent entered our sanctuary. All of us come from traditions that have experienced this in recent years, whether you're Muslim or Jewish or Christian or Unitarian Universalist. All faith traditions have been impacted by the violence that invades our sacred spaces. It does my heart good to gather with my colleagues and friends. It does my heart good to be with all of you, to join in our grief and in our resistance together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia. Our mayor could not be here today. She had a previous engagement, but she has sent Council Member Eric Friedman to come and speak on her behalf.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for organizing. I know none of us want to be here, but it's important that we have the showing that we've had today, and we remember the life that was taken far too soon, and that we do call out the racism, and we call out the hatred, because we are better when we do. And our community, we know what it's like. We've been through mass tragedies before due to gun violence. And so I want to say that this is heartening for us to come here together, and we will be stronger together. On behalf of the Mayor and Council, thank you all for being here and showing your support for our brothers and sisters in New Zealand.
Councilwoman Monique Limon could not be here either, and she has also sent a representative who's in the crowd. Our next speaker is Rabbi Arthur Gross Schaefer. Or his beautiful wife, Lori Gross Schaefer.
Actually, we're a team. I'm going to start, and he's going to tie it together. In Jewish tradition, we are taught that to destroy a life is to destroy the entire world. The loss of one's soul is a profound loss. To the person's family, the sudden death of an individual will have an impact on each member of that family for many years to come. Indeed, for generations. And to all the countless people, associations, and communities with whom that person's life was bound up, that person's absence will be felt long into the future. Indeed, to destroy a life is to destroy many worlds, as one person's loss will reverberate for years to come. And how much more intensely felt this will be for a community, a world mourning the loss of 50 individuals, and so many who were wounded, so many lives destroyed and altered in one heinous, hateful act of violence. It is staggering to comprehend this despicable act, the aftershocks of which have not yet been felt in communities all across the world. Indeed, to destroy a life is to destroy many worlds. As a weaver of cloth, and at times a miner of the right words for a given occasion, I choose to repair and to remember. For this moment, I share with this community 50 of my pocket blessings, and I ask my sisters to come and help pass them out. On these small cotton scrolls are the words "In Remembrance there is life. Please pass them around the circle, the crowd. There are 50 here to share with you. Feel them in your hands. They're a tangible manifestation of what we're all feeling in our torn hearts. Pass them around, feel them, and if you choose to keep one, put it in your pocket as a reminder. This is for you to hold on to share with others in the community, to take this act of solidarity of all of us standing here together and carry it out into the world, sharing it through this tangible pocket blessing, a way for you to share this story and this great torn mourning that we all feel with other members of your communities and your lives as you go out into the world.
When my wife Lori called up her sisters, some of you may not be aware, but there are actually two organizations in Santa Barbara, more could be established, called the Salam Shalom Sisterhood. And these are women who meet from the Jewish and Muslim community to learn from each other. And just for a second, if you are one of those sisters, could you please raise your hand? It's a very powerful group. And we're very honored that you are here. Jewish tradition teaches, as Imam Yama pointed out, that to save a life is to save a world. But what does that mean? To save a life even after it has been taken means to make sure that that life is not forgotten. Ida read many of the stories of those people. We need to take time to read those stories and give their life, their memory, part of who we will become. For those who perished, it is time for us to see them as individuals, not just numbers. Yes, it's 50, but they're individuals who have individual stories. To speak their names, to read their individual stories, and to understand, as inscribed in the blessing that Lori just passed out, in remembrance there is life. To save a life means that we remember the concept mentioned in the Bible, to love thy neighbor as thyself. Just as I want for myself safety, respect, dignity, I need to make sure my neighbor feels safety, respect, and dignity. And we must help make that happen here in Santa Barbara, in our country, and in the world. To save a life means we do not forget the words of Mother Teresa. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. My tradition teaches that God created one human being to teach us that we cannot say that I'm holier, better, more special than you. Rather, we are all created in the image of Allah, in the image of God, and all of our souls are holy. To save a life means that we must act to repair this damaged world. Elie Wiesel wrote, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Our presence here testifies that we are not indifferent. As our actions today, tomorrow, next week, and the years to come must reflect our commitment to standing with each other. And this is what I mean. We stand with each other when we understand that hatred and violence does not come out of nowhere, not out of a vacuum. It is nurtured and often too often tolerated by us. When we hear a racist joke or bigoted statement and we are silent, we cannot be silent. I applaud our congressman for calling out white nationalism. We cannot be silent. I applaud him for calling out our president. We cannot be silent. Statements of our leaders who traffic in promoting division, suspicion, and hatred of the other must be responded to by us speaking out and denouncing all forms of racism, bigotry, and xenophobia. We stand with each other when we accept and appreciate that this is actually a place I want to be today. And I want to celebrate the fact that we are standing with our neighbors. Because we in the Jewish community, we remember what happened in Pittsburgh not that long ago. After the shooting, communities came to support that Jewish community. And one of the major communities that came was the Muslim community. We do not forget that. We should never forget that. So therefore, on behalf of Rabbi Steve Cohen behind me from Congregation B'nai B'rith, and Mark, I saw you because you stand out with that shirt, the cantor, who's also the president of the Interfaith Coalition, and many others of the Jewish community, we pledge to act in order to safeguard the safety, respect, and dignity of our Muslim neighbors, and we are also see them as our friends, our brothers, our sisters. We stand with them, and as we remember that the act of standing up for others is an act to save our world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Rabbi Steve Cohen.
Thank you, Ida. And Ida, thank you so much for organizing this and pulling us all together this afternoon. And thank you all for being here. We are here together this afternoon, our hearts full of emotion, sorrow, anger, and fear. Sorrow for those murdered in New Zealand and for their suffering families. Anger at the leaders and preachers who use the power of words to spread hate in our world. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the next lunatic with a gun. We come here together today to heal each other. In our gathering here, let us find comfort in our sorrow. In this gathering, let our anger burn, but let it be a blazing source of light and energy and not destruction. And let our gathering here remind us that we have nothing to fear. My Muslim sisters and brothers, we are all here together today with you, and every day. My Jewish brothers and sisters, in the words of a great rabbi, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tzar ma'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. The entire world is a very narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to be afraid. My Christian sisters and brothers, be strong and of good courage. My Hindu and Buddhist and atheist and agnostic brothers and sisters, in the words of a great American president, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We have come together today to heal each other. Chazak, chazak v'nit chazek. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another.
Thank you so much for everything. I'd like to ask my sister, Viraja Frana, to come and speak.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with my beloved brothers and sisters of the interfaith community, and I'm so happy to see you all here. As Reverend Julia pointed out, we get together, we love each other, and it's all too often in terms of tragedy. We come here because we need to be together. We need to support one another. We need to tell each other, I've got your back. We're all in this together. We don't know what else to do except to join in together and say, we love you, you're part of us, we're part of you. What else can we do? I would suggest there's one other thing that we can do, and that's to take one more step forward and develop relationships with the people who don't think like us, who don't agree with us. the people who are quite easily moved to just take that knee-jerk reaction. These people are like that. Those of us who do belong to ethnic or religious minorities sometimes avoid doing that because we don't want to be put in positions that are uncomfortable, but we have to humanize ourselves. And also we have to let ourselves be humanized by them. I stop thinking in terms of those people are like that. People are just people.